Kamala Harris, the Vice President of the United States, represents a significant milestone in American politics as the first female, first black, and first South Asian Vice President. However, Kamala Harris is as far from feminism as Donald Trump. While this might seem contradictory, a deeper analysis through Marxist feminist theory reveals the underlying reasons for this stance. Marxist feminism focuses on the intersection of gender and class, arguing that true liberation for women cannot be achieved without addressing the capitalist system that perpetuates inequality and exploitation. From this perspective, simply having women in positions of power within the current system does not necessarily equate to progress for all women. In this light, Harris's ascent represents a superficial victory in a system that remains fundamentally oppressive. True feminism, achieved from a Marxist perspective, requires dismantling the capitalist structures that perpetuate inequality, not merely achieving representation within them. Neoliberal feminism, or corporate feminism, focuses on individual success and breaking glass ceilings within existing power structures, rather than transforming those power structures themselves. This contemporary mainstream form of feminism emphasizes the achievements of high-profile women like Kamala Harris, but neglects systemic issues that affect the majority of women, particularly those from marginalized communities. Nancy Fraser, a prominent Marxist feminist scholar, critiques this form of feminism for aligning too closely with neoliberal capitalism. She argues that it often co-opts feminist ideals for capitalist goals, thereby undermining the broader struggle for gender and economic justice. Fraser states, "A feminism that focuses solely on achieving parity in existing hierarchies is a feminism that fails to address the deeper structures of power that perpetuate inequality." Kamala Harris's record as a prosecutor and her policy positions have been points of contention for many feminists. Critics argue that her tenure as California's Attorney General and as a United States Senator has at times supported policies that disproportionately affect marginalized communities, including women of color. For example, her stance on criminal justice reform has been criticized for perpetuating the USA's prison industrial complex, which Marxist feminists argue is a capitalist system that exploits labor and exacerbates social inequalities. Angela Davis, a notable Marxist feminist, has extensively critiqued the prison system, stating, "The prison functions ideologically as an abstract site into which undesirables are deposited, relieving us of the responsibility of seriously engaging with the problems of our society, especially those produced by racism and increasingly global capitalism." Harris's support for policies that are seen as maintaining the status quo rather than challenging systemic injustices is a significant reason why some feminists do not support her. Intersectionality, a concept coined by Kimberlé Crenshaw, emphasizes the interconnectedness of social categorizations such as race, class, and gender. Marxist feminists use this framework to argue that true feminism must address multiple axes of oppression, not just gender alone. Kamala Harris's political positions are scrutinized through this lens, with critics arguing that her policies do not adequately address the intersectional nature of oppression faced by working-class women and women of color. This critique is rooted in the belief that supporting leaders who operate within and uphold neoliberal capitalist structures does not lead to meaningful social change. While representation is important and can inspire and empower marginalized communities, Marxist feminists argue that it is not sufficient for achieving true liberation. The presence of women in high political offices is seen as symbolic progress, but does not necessarily translate into policies that dismantle the global or national structural inequalities of late-stage or neoliberal capitalism. Silvia Federici, another influential Marxist feminist, argues that real change requires collective action and systemic transformation. She states, the fight against sexism and racism must be connected with the struggle against capitalist exploitation. From this perspective, many feminists view Kamala Harris's rise to power as emblematic of a system that prioritizes individual success stories over collective liberation and structural change for the betterment of humanity. In conclusion, while Kamala Harris's achievements are historic and represent progress in terms of representation, many Marxist feminists do not support her because they see that her political career operates within and upholds a capitalist framework that perpetuates systemic inequality. Marxist feminists argue for a broader approach to social justice that addresses the interconnectedness of class, race, and gender, and seeks to transform the underlying structures of power. Understanding this perspective challenges us to think critically about the nature of progress and the ways in which individual success can sometimes obscure the need for deeper systemic change. Thank you for watching The Left Library. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe for more simplified insights into political philosophy, political economy, and political science. Let's continue to learn and grow together.